Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're demystifying something absolutely crucial: building wealth. If you've ever wondered how some people just seem to grow their money effortlessly while others are constantly struggling to keep up, well, you're in the right place. We're going to talk specifically about how young people can start thinking about their financial futures right now and set themselves up for serious long-term success. Okay, let's dive into this with a quick scenario. Imagine two teenagers, right? They each receive exactly 1,000 taka. The first teenager goes out and just spends it immediately. Snacks, video games, random online shopping. Boom, the money's gone. The second teenager, however, decides to invest that same 1,000 taka. Fast forward 20 years. The first teenager literally doesn't even remember what they bought with that cash. But the second teenager, they now own assets worth thousands. It was the exact same amount of starting money, but a completely different decision. The choices you make with your money right now will drastically alter what your future looks like.
Section 1. Make your money work. You see, most of us grow up believing a very specific narrative about money. We kind of just think money only grows when we physically work harder or clock longer hours to earn it. But there's a massive paradigm shift you have to make if you actually want to build wealth. You need to start thinking of your money as an employee. If it just sits around in your wallet or stuffed in a piggy bank, it's doing absolutely nothing. But if you put it to work, it can labor for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even while you're sleeping. That's because investing simply means putting your money into something that has the potential to grow in value over time. It's not magic. It's not just for Wall Street bankers. Wealthy people understand this one fundamental truth. When you invest, you are essentially hiring your money to go out and make more money for you.
It all boils down to this incredibly simple, yet highly effective cycle. Earn money, save money, invest money, repeat. This right here is your foundational blueprint for success. You earned to get some capital. You save to protect a chunk of that capital from being spent, and then, crucially, you invest it so that actually grows. Then you just rinse and repeat. If you follow this loop, you are actively building wealth.
Section 2. The magic of compound growth. Let's move to and see how this builds.
Once you started that cycle of earning, saving, and investing, something really spectacular kicks in behind the scenes. Your money doesn't just grow in a straight, boring line. It starts to accelerate. Albert Einstein supposedly called compound interest the eighth wonder of the world. Now, why would one of the smartest people in human history say that about a financial concept? Well, it's because compound growth means your growth builds upon your growth. When your money earns returns, those new returns get added to your total pile, and then those returns start earning returns of their own. It makes your money multiply faster and faster as time goes on. And this brilliantly illustrates the concept. Think of investing like planting a mango seed. In year one, right after you plant it, honestly, not much happens on the surface. It just looks like dirt. In year two, maybe you get a little sprout. It grows a tiny bit. But fast forward a few years later, that tiny seed has become a massive tree producing fruit every single season, year after year. Investing works exactly the same way. The earlier you start planting those financial seeds, the bigger the advantage you have. Because in investing, time is vastly more powerful than the amount of money you start with. Section 3. Understanding risk versus reward. Now, of course, we can't talk about planting seeds and growing wealth without talking about the weather, so to speak. There's an inherent tension in investing. It's not a guaranteed, perfectly smooth ride. Smart investors don't just chase the thrill of excitement, they actively manage their risk. If someone promises you huge profits with zero risk, run fast. I literally cannot emphasize this stark warning enough. In the financial world, risk and reward usually travel right beside each other. Higher potential reward almost always means higher potential loss. If it sounds too good to be true, it absolutely is. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how we can easily map out the financial landscape. We've got 5 common investment options here. First up, we have savings accounts and government bonds. These are your low-risk options. Savings accounts are safe, for sure, but the growth is very slow. Bonds mean you're essentially lending money to earn interest, also low risk. Then we have stocks. This is where you own a small piece of a company. The potential reward is much higher, but so is the risk level. It's high. Next are mutual funds, where professionals invest on your behalf, so the risk varies. And finally, index funds, which represent a collection of many companies bundled into one investment, carrying a moderate risk level. So many experts actually recommend index funds. Why? Well, because they reduce risk through a concept called diversification. Instead of betting all your money on one single company succeeding, you're spreading it out over hundreds of companies at once. It's a fantastic place to start. And remember, you do not need a massive bank account to start learning about these options. You just need curiosity. Section 4. Biggest beginner investing mistakes.
All right, we've talked about how to plant your harvest. Now we really need to talk about how to guard it. There are 4 major pitfalls that young investors fall into. Mistake number 1, waiting too long to start. Remember the mango seed. Mistake number 2, trying to get rich quickly. That is just a recipe for disaster. Mistake number 3, blindly following social media influencers without actually understanding what they're talking about. You've got to do your own research. And mistake number 4, investing money you simply cannot afford to lose. Never, ever risk your rent or grocery money on an investment.
So the crucial point is this. Investing is not gambling. It's a long-term game. If you approach the stock market like it's a casino, you will eventually lose. But if you approach it with long-term consistency, patience, and a clear head, you let the magic of compound growth do all the heavy lifting for you.
Section 5. Your next steps.
We've covered a ton of ground today, from shifting your mindset to understanding risk to avoiding those major mistakes. But hey, knowledge is only potential power until you actually apply it. So I'm issuing you a specific challenge for this week, straight from our source material. Step 1, ask your parents or guardians about investing. Just start the conversation at home. Step 2, read just one article about investing. Step 3, watch one educational video. And step 4, learn one new financial concept. The goal right now isn't to become a millionaire overnight. The goal is simply to understand how money works. Because learning this skill early creates incredible choices and freedom for your future.
I want to leave you with this exact question to kickstart your journey right now. Where do people invest money? Take this question, ask your family, ask your teachers, and start doing your own research. The seed of wealth has been planted in your minds today. How are you going to help it grow? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.